Ciaran, welcome to Doncaster Rovers Bells.
Thank you.
Why the Bells for you?
Well, you know, it's a historic club, 1969. What I've seen now is a project of bringing the Bells back to where they belong. As a pro-licensed coach, I felt it was the time to take on an ambitious project, and it just so happened that this became available, and it was a chance that I kind of wanted to jump at.
How excited are you by that opportunity to build and as you say, take the Bells back to where they belong?
Yeah, listen, I'm at the stage now where this project is something that I feel I can give so much to. I'm so excited about trying to maximise the potential of every single individual that's involved in it, and together as a unit we can really grow the foundations that are already here, because it's a massive club, a massive environment, and it's a really exciting time for everybody involved. And I just feel that for me, I really could contribute to that for its future success. And I honestly can't wait to get started. From what I've seen at the moment, there's just so many good things, but I still feel there's so much potential that we can really get out of this. So, you know, personally, I'm really proud to be given the opportunity to do this, and I'll work tirelessly to really build the success of every single person involved.
Speaking to you before this interview, it seems that applies to on the pitch, but certainly off the pitch as well, in terms of growing the club.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to say that. You know, we recognise that it's a part-time environment, but it's a full-time attitude, a mentality, an elite mentality, and it's about building that culture around everybody who's involved, not just the players, but all of the staff, to be able to do something important that I feel we should be doing, and almost a responsibility. As I've mentioned, there's great foundations here, and I just think that we have to balance what we do on the field as well as spreading the message that we want to spread to every corner of the world that we possibly can do, which lines up with the project that's involved of creating this foundation to build this club to make it more successful, not just now, but sustainable in the future.
You touched on it a little bit. Well, what are your first impressions of the place? You've had a chance to watch a few games back. You've had a chance to meet a few people as well off the pitch as well. What have you made to what you've seen?
Certainly I've been really impressed with who I've met off the field. People who are ambitious, people who care about the message that we want to spread, people who are heavily invested emotionally, and I think if we're going to do great things, those people are so important. I have watched the players, and I'm really excited about where I feel I can support them to be the best they possibly can be, and that's the message that we're sending. You know, that's what we want to do. I feel there's so much more that we can get from the players, and where I look at them now, I'm thinking, okay, like where can we really go with this? It's competitive. It's a competitive league. It's going to be really challenging. We have to just try and do as much as we can better than everybody else. But in itself, I just think that brings a real enrichment of a mentality of what we want to try and be and what we want to stand for as we move forward.
What, when you look at it, will be your short-term goals? We'll come on to the wider project in a second, but what are your short-term goals with the group in particular? Well,
it's really important that everybody feels that they're being supported in the right way. That's the most important thing. We have to acknowledge that there's a transition here, and at times transition can be a little bit unnerving for people. But what I'm hoping for from everybody involved is that they can see someone in myself who is willing to give everything I possibly can to help every single person excel. And that's both on and off the field. In terms of on the field, obviously Amanda's coming in as assistant manager, and I think she will be a vital part of the ecosystem that we're creating here. She's already been in the club and knows the players. So I'm hoping that that's going to smooth out the transition of myself coming in as almost an outsider at this stage. But I'll be making it really explicitly clear to the players that this is an environment that they want to love being a part of. Now, that's not to say that everybody's going to be successful in it, because as we build challenging environments and elite mentality, that people will embrace that. It may take longer for others to do that, but we want to make sure that everybody has an unbelievable experience being a part of this club.
We're going to touch on longer term goals, but it seems like a lot of what you've said about the short term will apply to the long term as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's about a process, isn't it? I mean, with any kind of project, we have to understand that there are those short, medium and long term goals. But for me, it's about a culture. You know, that's the most important thing. We want to be proud to be involved. We want to be proud to be turning up every week and you know, because we understand that everybody has their stresses around in life, and we want to make sure that this is an environment where they can feel safe, supported through kind of values that I have of compassion, connection's really important, but competitiveness, and building those processes to create those foundations that then we can start to really get creative with how we can be successful.
And it sounds as well that a lot of the stuff that you would implement, the culture, the environment, that won't be any different if and when you get the bells to where they should be in the pyramid. Yeah,
well, I touched on elite mentality, and I'm not saying that it's not here. I'm just saying that it's part of my ethos of what we want to, a responsibility that we have to do things right. And I mean, like I said to Chris, that, you know, we need to implement as much as we can now that we would do in the places that we want to go to. However small they may be, because they will add up to hopefully making a little bit of a difference in the short term, but certainly building those foundations for the future.
Tell us a bit about your background in the game.
Yeah, so I've obviously been involved in a professional game for over 25 years. As a 16-year-old moving over from Northern Ireland on my own to be fortunate to get an opportunity to follow a professional dream at Tottenham in the first instance, and then playing majority of League Two from a pro career. And then a transition into coaching. Spent about 9 years coaching, most recently at Rotherham United. And then developing some business interests in the game as well. So I've kind of got that, what I feel, my experience on the field as a player. So that's going to be really important to emotionally connect with the players on field, like the feeling of what's going on and how that affects you psychologically, emotionally, to then affect your decision making. So I think I can be really strong at that with the players. Understanding from the coaching side, the managing side, what the needs are and requirements of how we build that game model to be able to ensure that everybody knows exactly what they're doing, whilst understanding that there's a lot of things that, whilst building strategies can maybe not go well, but how we recover from them, that's how you build that elite performance. And then obviously when we talked about the project, and I've talked to Chris at length about his ambitions, which really align with mine, understanding that as being involved in the business side of the industry as well, that I can appreciate, you know, the types of challenges that come with that. So I'd like to think that I can understand from kind of all those sides, and then work really hard to make sure that I'm as impactful as I possibly can be for as long as I can be, to then ensure that the club is on a sound footing of progression for the long-term future.
That time coaching, particularly in the development phase at Rotherham, will be a lot that you can take from that with this group of players that you've got, a very young group here.
Yeah, a young group, and I have got a lot of experience in the development of players. Like I touched on, I think there's a lot more to come from this group of players, and I'll be leaning on my years of experience in that aspect to try and give them what I feel they need in terms of guidance and support. I'm a big believer in players taking ownership and accountability of where they want to go and who they want to be, both as people and as players. And I've just learned that through kind of years of just being around it and doing it. I'm a big believer in actions speak louder than words. I think it's easy to sit here and kind of say that this is what we want to do. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I think it's a long-term project. But I feel we have the right people in place on the field and off the field to be able to support that mission.
Your time at Rotherham obviously as well, bringing you into contact with a few familiar faces here at Club Doncaster as well, who you'll know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few people that I worked at Rotherham with who are at the club, and I've spoken to them already. And it's nice to know that there's. It's nice to hear some of the things that they've said to other people about me coming in, which is always nice. I think it's a good reflection. Obviously, I know the first team men's staff quite well. I played internationally with Grant for a long time throughout the years, and then also connections when he was at West Ham as a young player and I was at Tottenham. That kind of connection in that group down at kind of East London was there and present, and obviously then playing with Cliff for a short period at Gainsborough, and knowing them just through the game. It's a small church, football, and I always think that it's a good reflection when people have good things to say about you, in how your approach is to supporting people, and that's kind of what I want people to say about this. This is a unit. This is a project that we're building together. I'm just one part of that, and we're going to need everybody to be really on board with that to push things forward.
How much heart do you take from that then, that you know that you're going to have people that you can call upon for whatever you need, a bit of guidance, a bit of advice, just someone to lend an ear to at times within this organisation that is Club Doncaster?
Yeah, well, I say any successful organisation is not about one person. I think there has to be, there's something to be said for, in the game, there's a lot of ego in the game. It's a ruthless industry. I've never worked in an organisation where I feel that when that's been present that it's ever been a positive experience. So for me it's standard practice. It's a standardisation that it's not about one person, it's about a collective. And I kind of am hopeful that I feel there's the right people in place here to really push that forward. Again, reiterating that it's not coming from kind of one person that is the be-all and end-all and saying what needs to happen. It's about I'm quite a forward-thinking person. I've got my views on how I think the game should be played. I am a straight talker, but I'm a good listener. And I think for us to be successful, it's going to need that. For us to be successful, it's going to need people's input to be able to say, how are we making this better? I don't believe it's a one-size-fits-all. I think as we progress through these things and we learn, every day is a learning day, we learn more about the players, we learn more about our capabilities, we challenge the people behind the scenes to do better and be better because we want to progress, then that's a standardisation that I feel is an expectation that should be happening in successful organisations. And from being here for the short time that I have, I get that feeling that it's here. I get that feeling that it's there, and I'm looking forward to exploring that, because there's a challenge ahead, but an exciting challenge, and one that I think is, we have to be forceful to say that, okay, it's challenging. Everybody else is doing great things and trying to do great things, but let's try and be better and do better in as many things as we possibly can. And then I do believe that's going to have, the byproduct will be success in some way, shape or form. It just, it takes time. We can't be naive in thinking that it doesn't. It does take time. But certainly we'll want to see some progressions in certain areas that I've identified pretty quickly. And then we build from there.
What do the next couple of weeks look like? Obviously, we've got a game in the FA Cup this weekend against Rugby Borough, but I understand you're going to take a watching brief on that one. And then what are the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, Amanda's going to lead at the weekend, and she's well capable to do that, and she has a big role to play. I'll be, I suppose, officially in with the group on Tuesday. And then it's about trying to hit the ground running with what we want to try and achieve. Make no mistake, the players will know pretty quickly about what we want to create here, the vision, the standards that are required, and then there'll be a lot of support around to help them get there, to give them an opportunity. To give them an opportunity to step up to that is really important. Everybody has to have that opportunity. And I'm hoping that as many people as possible will grasp that.
Yeah, excited just to get going now.
Yeah, can't wait. Really can't wait. And I'm really grateful for Chris putting his faith in me. I don't take it lightly. There's a big project on. I don't see it as a part-time project, because I think if we need to get to where I believe we can do, aligned with Chris's vision, I'm really excited about what we can do here. So the hard work starts now.